Welcome, everyone. We are going to do a little bit of breathing. We're going to do a little bit of stretching, and we're going to do some meditation. But we're going to start by just arriving in our body. So feel what's beneath you. You might be sitting in a chair, you might be sitting on the ground, you might be reclining. All are welcome. But really feel the earth beneath you. Feel your hips melt into the seat. Feel your feet relaxing. Feel your shoulders dropping and just arriving here. I invite you to start with a big breath in and an audible sigh out as you drop the shoulders. Lovely. We're going to stretch the back and spine, starting super gently with just the cervical spine, bringing the chin to the chest. And if that feels good, see if you can drop it a little bit more, looking towards the navel. And then dropping one ear to one shoulder, sitting up a little bit taller, hanging out here and feeling the stretch down the opposite side of the neck. And then coming back chin to chest. And then dropping the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder, feeling the stretch, dropping the shoulders, hanging out here just for a couple breaths. Again, 80% is always good enough, so there's no need to force it or to push. We're just allowing some openness versus forcing a big stretch. And then I'll invite you to drop the chin to the chest, and this time involve the thoracic and the lumbar spine, curving the back like a Halloween cat. Tucking the tailbone under and allowing the whole spine to be long and curved. And then very slowly coming into our cow pose. Tipping the pelvis the opposite direction, allowing the heart to shine, looking up towards the ceiling, dropping the shoulders down, and sitting up just a tiny bit taller, 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter even. And then coming back to our nice, neutral, tall mountain pose. So in a seated mountain pose, shoulders down, hands face forward if that feels okay. Bringing the feet about hip width distance apart. And we'll do a few very slow sun salutations with look to deepen the forward fold each time. But again, 80% is good enough. We're not going to crank our body into a forward fold. We're going to gently unfurl. Inhaling, bringing the arms up, and exhaling, bring the arms back down. You can rest them on the tops of the thighs. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale to bow and fold any amount. And it might just be a little bit, and that's fine. Or you might be able to tuck the chin to the chest, and that's fine. Breathing here. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. And on every exhale, you might be able to hinge forward a tiny bit more. So it might be that your low back lengthens. We're thinking about inhaling to lengthen the spine and exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold. Not forcing anything. We are allowing the folding to happen. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. And then really engage the core. As we come back up, bringing the arms up overhead if that feels good today. Maybe bringing the palms together and bringing the thumbs to touch the sternum, pressing the thumbs into the sternum, pressing the sternum into the thumbs. Breathe here. And on the exhale, let everything go back into that nice tall mountain pose, pressing through the feet and pressing through the top of the head. And we'll do another one like this, inhaling to bring the arms up overhead. And exhale, bringing the arms back. You might set the hands on top of the legs. Inhale to lengthen the spine. And exhale to bow and fold over the legs, allowing that low back to extend, to stretch. We'll do 3 breaths here. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to bow. Inhaling to lengthen the spine, exhale to fold over the legs. And one more like this. And then engage the core. And if you can use the core muscles, do that to bring the arms back up overhead. Maybe the palms touch, and then bringing the hands back to heart center. And again, pressing the thumbs into the sternum into the thumbs, and then letting it all go. And just hanging out here. Maybe you do a little body scan. Where in my body do I feel loose and supported and good? And then where in my body do I still maybe feel a little bit of that tension, that tightness? And allowing the experience of tightness to be just that, this is how it is right now. And then we send the breath to that area and we say, it's okay to let go. We tell that part of our body, when you are ready to let go, you will be held. Everything's safe. It's okay. Sometimes the more we demand relaxation, the more the mind and the nervous system cling to the constriction. So let's be loose about it. If you like, you can close your eyes. If that doesn't feel good, no worries. You can find a drishti, a single point of focus somewhere in the distance. You can simply let your eyes drop to the ground, make them go a little fuzzy, maybe half close the eyelids, whatever works for you. And we'll arrive at the breath. You probably feel it first in your chest. So let's think about the heart center as the chest rises on the inhale and sinks on the exhale. Thinking about your comfort level. So we're breathing in and exhaling into even more relaxation. But if there is a change of position, that would be helpful for you. If you're cold or warm and you need to adjust accordingly, do so. Do it mindfully. Give your body what it wants to the extent that you can. A lot of times we ignore those little signs from the body that says, hey, I'm uncomfortable, or hey, I need this. But if we can listen to those and we can do something about it, why not? Let's make ourselves as relaxed and as comfortable as possible. I invite you to drop the shoulders. I'll invite you to drop the breath. So if you feel it in your heart center, bring it to the belly. And now is a great time to set an intention, if you like, for your practice. You might have an intention you've been working with, or you might set a new intention. Something might have come to you today, or you might want to borrow mine. I am relaxed. I am safe. Repeat that a couple times. Send it out into the universe. You can repeat it out loud, or you can repeat it silently to yourself. Let the universe conspire to help make it so. Let the belly rise on the inhale and sink on the exhale. And then I'll invite you to elongate the exhale and send it into the low back. If you have something behind you, imagine pressing into it as you inhale, filling up 360 degrees. So the front ribs, the side ribs, and the back ribs. And then exhaling for as long as feels good in your body. Inhaling 360 degrees. And exhaling slowly. And we'll stay here for a minute or two. And when or if the mind gets distracted, that's okay. Say, distraction, and just come back to the breath. No matter how many times, it's not a problem, it's not an issue, it's what happens because our minds are very busy. So instead of saying, I lost my focus, say, I can regain it right now. I can come back to the breath right now. And I'll call you back in a couple minutes. Take your time, inhaling 360 degrees, especially into the backside of the body, which, because it's out of sight, it's often out of mind. And then your longest, slowest, most luxurious exhale of your whole day so far. And then come back to the breathing pattern that feels the most natural to you. And we'll come into a body scan. So bringing the attention to the top of the head, the crown chakra. Imagine where is the top of your skull in space. And then bring the attention to the back of the head and the base of the skull, that atlas bone that connects the spine to the skull and into the neck. Bring the attention through the neck to the throat center. Feeling the air pass through the trachea, through the throat into the lungs. Bringing the attention down to the heart. And from the heart into the right shoulder. The right tricep down the back of the arm. To the bony part of the elbow. And down the outside of the lower arm to the wrist bone. And And then we'll trace around each of the fingers as if you're a kid in school making a handprint, going up the outside of the hand to the little finger, and up the outside of the little finger to the fingertip, and then down the inside of the finger to that webbing in between the little finger and the ring finger. Bringing the attention along the outside of the ring finger, all the way up to the fingertip, and then down the inside of the ring finger to that webbing in between the ring finger and the middle finger. And then same again, up the outside of the ring finger, all the way to the fingertip, and then down the inside of the middle finger to that webbing in between the middle finger and the index. Tracing around the outside of the index finger all the way up to the fingertip, and then down the inside of the index finger all the way to the webbing between the index finger and the thumb. And then along the inside of the thumb to the thumb tip, and along the outside of the thumb all the way back to the inner wrist bone. And then up the lower arm to the soft bit and the inner elbow. And then up the bicep to the armpit and back to the heart center. And we'll take 3 big breaths here in your own time, in through the nose and out through the nose. And when you're ready, bring the attention to the left shoulder. And then down the tricep to the bony part of the elbow. And down the outside of the lower arm to the outer wrist bone. And we'll trace around the fingers of the left hand. So along the outside of the hand to the baby finger, and up the outside of the baby finger to the fingertip, and then down the inside of the baby finger to that webbing in between the little finger and the ring finger. And then up outside of the ring finger to the fingertip, and down the inside to that webbing between the ring finger and the middle finger. Bringing the attention up the outside of the middle finger to the fingertip, and then down the inside to the webbing between the middle finger and the index finger. And bringing the attention up the outside of the index finger to the fingertip, and down the long inner side all the way down to the webbing between the index finger and the thumb. Along the inner side of the thumb to the thumb tip, and then down the outside of the thumb all the way back to the inner wrist bone. And then up the inner side of the lower arm to the soft bit in the elbow crease, and then up the bicep to the armpit, and then back to the heart center. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And then bringing the attention to the belly, to the pelvic floor, to the hips, to the upper right leg and the knee, the lower right leg and the ankle, to the heel and the arch of the foot, and all 5 toes, big toe, second toe, third toe, the fourth toe and the little toe, top of the foot, the shin, the knee, the upper leg back to the hip, and then over to the left side. Tracing the attention down the left leg to the knee, and down the lower leg to the ankle, around the heel and the arch, the ball of the foot, and all 5 toes, the big toe, the second toe, the third toe, the fourth toe, and the little toe. The top of the foot back to the ankle, the lower leg back to the knee, and the upper leg back to the hip, to the low belly, to the upper belly, and back to the heart center for 3 breaths. Maybe you bring your intention back to mind. Maybe you think about the entire body as a whole. Can you feel into every part at the same time? And then start thinking about what parts of the body would like to move first, very gently, very slowly. Maybe it's the fingertips, maybe it's the neck. And then go ahead and make that move really gently. Maybe you come into the shoulders. Maybe you do a little twist. And if your eyes are closed, you can open your eyes. Thanks for practicing with me today.